Hey everybody. Today I'm talking about The Broom of the System by David Foster Wallace. This book is from 1987, and this is Foster Wallace's first book. It's definitely one you don't see people talk about as much, but being that me, like probably a lot of other people, tried to read Infinite Jest at one point in my life, and of course I didn't finish. That was, for me, was about over 10 years ago. So I've read a few of his essays, and I do like his writing a lot. I just kind of decided to get back into it for whatever reason, and decided to just start with his first book. And honestly, this is a great book. I shouldn't say honestly, his talent is great, but this is a really good book. Um, this was written, I believe this was like part of his master's thesis when he was graduating school, and he was about 24 years old when this was published. Now, if you look up the reviews for this book, the one big complaint you'll see is people will talk about his age when he wrote this and him kind of basically being green. He even has famously gone back and said, oh, that book has a bunch of issues in it, or he even, I think at one point said a joke like it was like the book was written by a really smart 14-year-old. You get that a little bit, but honestly, like when I finished this, reading this thing, I kept thinking, damn, I wish I could do something like this when I was 24. It's very well done. I don't think you should read this and like. Obviously, his comment is important, and his how self-critical he is, but also as a reader, I'll make my own opinion, and I thought it was really funny, really good. You can see that a little bit in here. Like, there's definitely a few moments where he gets philosophical, and it's not, hidden under 20 layers of irony like it normally is, and it feels a little like being on a soapbox. Um, Honestly, though, it doesn't really matter. The book itself is hilarious. What this book is about a character named Lenore Beadsman, who's a 24-year-old woman who's a switchboard operator at her boyfriend Rick Love's publishing company. It's like I wouldn't call this book a parody of postmodernism, but it's like he was trying to write the like what's happening kind of postmodern book of the time. Because it's like you got all these crazy characters that have wacky jobs. There's all these different storylines. And Lenore's grandmother, who lives in a nursing home, she disappears. She like breaks out with like 20 some odd other people in the nursing home. And it's kind of like Lenore trying to find her and also figuring some things out along the way. And there's some crazy characters in here. Okay, there's a guy they know named, I won't get too spoilery for things, but a guy named Mr. Bombardini who has an obsession with eating as much as possible to become as large as humanly possible. There's a cockatoo bird in here that starts reciting Bible passages. Like there's a lot. There's their therapist was my favorite character in here. Just hilarious. It's a really, really damn funny book. It's hilarious, and there's like a lot of moment-to-moment situational comedy, but there's also just like a lot of stuff where it's jokes that they're being set up for like pages. Sometimes the jokes you're not going to get the punchline till the end of the book. Really funny. And also what David Foster Wallace is doing in here, I think, well, a few things that went over my head, honestly. Like, there's definitely a couple spots in here I was like, I'm not really sure what he's trying to do here, which is fine, But a lot of it to me seemed like a love of storytelling, like a love of the form of the novel, because each chapter is told in a different way. There's transcripts that you're reading. You're reading like old historical files. You're reading stuff in first person, I think second person, and third person. There's a lot of different ways that the story is told to you. And in true postmodern style, it never gets to the point, right? Like you get your setup, you're like, oh, here we go. And then it just meanders and you're getting a lot of crazy scenes, which is fine with me because that's how these books go. And I really kind of enjoyed it. Although you do see like everything kind of get crazier and crazier and build to the conclusion, so you at least kind of have that. But honestly, like I really recommend this. It is funny. That is the one thing I want you to take away. Like if you don't like postmodern work, this won't sway you. If you already don't like that stuff, I'd say give it a shot though. It's definitely a good place to start with David Foster Wallace, I think. It's not the easiest read ever, but it's not immensely complicated or anything. But the main thing I want you to take away from this whole review is the humor. It's just wacky and funny and crazy, and I loved it. I really, really, really liked it. Yeah, I give it 4.5 stars. It was a great read. All right, peace out, everybody. Have a wonderful day.